Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Karishma Connect. Here I am speaking to somebody who's given me a dilemma because there are just so many themes to digress in this one conversation, but I'm particularly proud and honored to be bringing this to your screens after a 2 month long wait. She's somebody who's got passion, purpose, and perseverance wrapped around her in copious amounts, and she puts it to use by having launched a platform for low income workers to gain access to better food that is safe and healthy. She curates menus every single day to make sure this is possible, and all of this is made possible through a smart card that allows you to donate meals that are as low as 3 dirhams, and that could have the power to influence somebody's education back home in a remote village. She's also a mother and an ambitious social entrepreneur. She's been recognized by the UN. She's also cracked a Guinness World Record of having served 50,000 meals to 50,000 lower income workers in just 5 hours. She left behind her high paying technology job and she tells me about the process behind this journey in this episode of Karishma Connect. So go check it out. Lots in there. A must watch indeed. And until the next one, stay tuned. This is Karishma and I'll be back yet again. Until then, Tata.
Thank you so much, Ayesha ma'am, for joining me on this episode of Karishma Connect. It's taken a while to get here, but now that it is here, I am super excited to hear your journey because I know it's one that's really inspiring. And more than inspiring, it's one that really touched my heart. So I'm looking forward to sharing it with my listeners. Thank you once again.
Thank you, beautiful Karishma. And I'm so happy that finally it has happened. We have met and we are talking. So let's talk.
The first thing I begin with on this podcast is tell me about that journey so far because nobody says it like you would, and I wouldn't want to define it for you. So tell me about your journey so far. What has it been like? Why is it so special where you are today? And how did you get here?
Journeys are always, a roller coaster rides of ups and downs. In our case, it was consistent downs for a very long time before we could even believe in ourselves that, yeah, this is the path that should have been taken and we are on the right path. So it was very discouraging, very demotivating to start a project, especially in the Middle East, where giving of food had predominantly become a culture of Ramadan, where when I said that we need to feed the lower income people consistently every day, I wasn't taken in the right way. Forget about appreciation, I was not even understood. So, my simple question was, when I feel hungry 3 times a day at least, will those not feel hungry who are humans like me and they don't have pockets as big as me or maybe others? So, being privileged people who have 3 meals at our hands reach, honestly, we should think about the lesser privileged who don't have the luxury of multiple meals every day. So it was as simple as that. Having led a life myself of hunger and poverty when I was doing my engineering because we had lost our dad and we were almost on the streets. So I knew that, whether rich or poor, you will feel hungry. And there is nothing else. When you're hungry, you must eat something. It doesn't need to be very glamorous food, but it needs to be food which is hygienic and healthy. That's it. Affordable, primarily very, very affordable, so that any pocket can buy food when they're hungry. So put all this together when I started my journey in 2006 in Dubai. I was already in UAE serving for a launch project which was Do. Do wasn't there, only Salat was there. So I was specifically brought in for the Do launch. Not only me, there were 60 such engineers who were telecom experts from around the world. We were all brought in. Many more people were there. And we all together had to launch Do. So it was a very ambitious project, no doubt. And UA is very ambitious, you know that. And especially with a new launch project like a new telecom operator coming into the country, it was very ambitious. Timelines were very strict. We all had to overperform. And first time in my life, I was working with many nationalities. Being in India, that was especially from Gujarat, I had not seen people from any other country. Honestly, beyond Gujaratis also, I had not seen. So
Yeah.
it was that, like, I was in a frog in the well kind of a
Uh,
life. So for me, it was just Gujaratis around. We were all my community. That's it. So when all of a sudden I came to a pool of people from various parts of the world, and I also needed to perform and to outshine myself every other day. That I keep going, and with all nationalities, I should have that kind of a plus. My stress buster was cooking where I would cook at the end of the day, not because I knew anything, just because I love doing it. So those days, my fridge used to get stacked up because every day I was doing this. Like,
Mm.
some people love to listen to music, some people go for drives. I liked cooking. That's it. So that is how the fridge started becoming stacked up with loads of food, and I did not know how to handle it. And now in India and all, we had many avenues where we go and give food. In
Yeah.
UAE, I didn't know how to handle this overstocked size of fridge food. So I started approaching the cleaners and drivers and gardeners around where we were placed. I was working on the Sheikh Zayed Road. So
Mm.
there were this lower income people, and especially those days when Shata Tower was under construction. So we had
Mm.
many construction laborers also. So that
Yes.
is exactly how it began. It was nothing aimed at becoming a social entrepreneur someday, becoming part of United Nations or getting a Guinness World Record. No,
Mm.
it was as simple as handling food because I didn't want to waste it. That is how
Mm.
it started. So because the food was too much, the audience was again 10 to 12 people roughly,
Mm.
and that has started happening every day. They were so kind to me. They used to always appreciate the food that I bring. And I somehow started thinking that I'm a very good cook because
Mm.
how come 10, 12 people are appreciating? Nobody says anything bad.
Yeah.
So it put me into a different state of mind. And now the stress at my office really didn't seem anything
Yeah.
because I would be, showered with appreciations of my food by these laborers every day. So I was eagerly looking forward to going to work with all the food. And then handling work was like very simple for me now. I was performing also well. I was being appreciated so much. But over a period of 2, 3 months, I started a connect because they started coming back to me to say a thank you.
Mm.
They would show the pictures of their children, and they would talk about their family and how I have played a role in all this. So that was really embarrassing because I wasn't playing any role. I was
Yeah.
only chasing my professional life to become more successful and
Yeah.
be successful in front of so many nationalities in a very prestigious launch project. And
Mm.
cooking was nothing but a stress buster.
Mm.
But somebody's children going to school or somebody's parents getting medical help because of the free meals that I'm giving was beyond my calculations. They said that the food that I was taking was such large quantity that they used to save it for dinner also. So having lunch and dinner started now saving almost 60 meals in a month, which was free for them, which was unimaginable for them. Nobody would have done it. And I felt so bad and so guilty that I was not doing it for them. This was just a byproduct of my cooking.
Mm.
Then I started hitting the internet to learn what is a meal because
Mm.
random cooking like kisi din was only salads, kisi din only parathas, different mooli ke parathe, this that, and kisi din only curries. That was not the right thing to do. I started feeling that. Then I would learn what is a complete meal for these people who are doing physically intensive jobs. They are laborers and not like me. They don't sit in AC rooms and they
Yeah.
do very light work. They are doing very physically intensive work. So, what could be a meal for them, especially what could be the portions, the volume? Then I started making a menu for my own self, the weekdays or Mondays, what I take. And those days, Sundays was the first working day. So,
Mm.
Sunday, that way. And Friday, Saturday, it was weekends where I would go shopping for the rest of the week to attend to my own menus, my cooking menus. It was nothing great because I
Mm.
was cooking यही same whatever we eat in India, alag
Mm.
sabji, dal, chicken curry, like that. And I made it a point that I'll make two different curries. So one
Mm.
for lunch, for dinner, and lots of chawal. Yeah, lots
Mm.
of paratha. So they can eat for lunch also, for dinner also. I became conscious.
Yeah.
Another thing, after Do got launched, I was absorbed in RTA, and after RTA, I was in Baldia municipality.
Mm.
So everywhere I continued doing this, and over like 12 years, I did this for 12 years as a personal passion. I kept feeding around 15 people every day. I was the strangest person loading the lift, elevators every day because I would be with so much of food. And
Mm.
with different nationalities in the lift, they would like make some of them make faces because the Indian food smells a lot of aroma, all
Yeah.
those masalas, and So they would look at me strangely, like, who comes to office with so much of food, as if she's only going to work to eat.
Mm.
And nobody knew what I was doing. And it was I didn't want to inform also. So
Yeah.
yeah, that is how the 12 years were spent. I became so confident by then because I was in the municipality. I went to the economic development department, and many people knew me because I was there. I was working. So I went and said, "See, let's make a food center. Many Aishas can come and keep the meals, and whoever needy can take it." Yeah, I
Mm.
know this because it works. I've done this for 12 years, and it works. They said, "Very good. What you have done is good. It's a good intent, noble intent, but we can't let you do this. It's not possible." Like, if in just in case there is a food contamination, anything goes wrong, which Aisha to catch?
Mm.
Who's responsible? If many such Aishas are keeping food and something goes wrong with so many people's health, who's responsible? So, if at all you want to do something like this, you must have a company of your own, a brand of your own, where municipality, health departments, they come for checking. It's a
Mm.
proper license under the Economic Development Department, proper kitchens, manpower, machines, vehicles, and food industry related certifications.
Mm.
So for me, everything was completely blank because I was a thorough IT professional, specialized in telecom, information security auditor, and all that. So all this was absolutely new. I went blank. So being from municipality, they knew me. They gave me some 2 3 pages of advice, like go do these things, and that was like, as I always feel that I went with a lot of enthusiasm, and I
Mm.
came back with a lot of questions. That was how it shaped up the
Yeah.
meetings. Then when I sat back and I saw the list
Correct.
was very specific to food industry and especially norms of UAE, the
Correct.
country which abides and adheres to a lot of norms in any industry. And food industry is becoming even then, food industry was the most crucial one which was monitored
Yes.
because when food is entering people's bodies, it can show up in many different ways.
Yeah.
Any other industry does not enter your tummy,
Yeah.
even if it's a construction or automobiles or IT, they don't go into your tummies. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the impact food industry can have on human life was more severe in comparison to any other industry. So these standards needed to be followed. I didn't know anything about it, but I understood that you need money for doing this. If you have to set up a food center and the volume of work that I was thinking to feed thousands of people every day, it wasn't going to happen without money.
Yeah.
And since, as I told you, the project was not known, heard, because there was no such project. There was
Mm.
no such business, no such avenue. So I sounded very strange and weird to everyone, whoever I discussed. The only way out was to sell things which I had made
Mm.
because like good Indians, in the 12 years that I made money, I was in a very good position. So like all of us, I bought villa, shops to rent, apartment to rent. We all do that.
Yeah.
Bana ke, we keep it in India and the rent keeps rolling every month. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I said fine, if I have to buy warehouses and or lease warehouses and buy all this equipment, so many visas, drivers, vehicles, I need that kind of money. So I sold all that. I went and sold and brought the money back.
Mm.
Using that, we launched Food ATM. So the strangest part was taking a decision which it was my money. It was something that I had made. I didn't go and sell my husband's property,
Mm.
but my husband, my children are the family.
Mm.
And the old people, when I went to India, the old ladies, we have majlis and all that.
Yeah.
So they said, "What are you going to do with all this?" I said, "Yes, see, there are people from 200 countries, and I fed them for 12 years, and I know it works. They need food, and I want to do this." So they said, "You want to do this by selling your own house?"
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah." So they said, "Who are they? I mean, how are those labors of 200 countries related to you?
Mm.
Are they anyway related to you? So, I mean, do you even listen to what you are saying? Do you know what you're doing?" That is when I understood that nobody understands. And
Yeah.
there's no way I can make them understand because their questions were not wrong. They, as own people, as family, they were bound to ask these questions, and I somehow didn't know the answers
Mm.
because the labels are not related to me, and I wanted to do it. That at one point a person becomes so restless that the person does not want to hear to anyone else.
Yeah.
You start feeling that you are right, and I had done it for 12 years, so I knew I was right. But beyond that, whatever was required, everything looked small to me. It was nothing big. That is how the whole thing started. So the journey before Food ATM was a personal battle, coming to this forefront and having the world see a project like this. After the launch was the most depressing and discouraging time, at least for 1 year, because we got the first trade license in 2019,
Mm.
and nobody gave us any work. And when we based ourselves in industrial area, there were competition. There were two cafeterias. It was a small crowd of 5,000 people, 5,000 laborers, and they had been from glass, wood kind of industry. And there were two cafeterias who used to see me as an enemy because I was there to take business from them, which I didn't realize. I was not a businesswoman at all.
Yeah.
So they would not let any labor come to eat. So 2019 was a failure on all fronts. Money also lost. Some two, three employees ran away. They absconded. Cooks, in fact, cooks ran away because they said, "What is she talking about? Feeding the nation from a kitchen? Aisa nahi hota. You make a cafeteria, you make burgers, you sell them. You keep increasing the cost every 3 months. That is how it works." I said, "No, we'll keep the cost stable because the salaries don't change and they need to buy food at the same cost." 50 fils to 3 dirham came at a later time. I
Yeah.
had placed the food cost at 10 dirham when nobody used to come. And then I started following people to see what they're going and eating. And I came to know that budget is just 5 dirham, 4, 5 dirham.
Yeah.
That's when I designed menus of 3 dirham.
Mm.
So that is exactly how the 3 dirham thing came into the being. And
Mm.
when the month begins, the 3 dirham cost is affordable. But as the month proceeds, even 3 dirham is difficult.
Yeah.
So I came up with variants of 50 fils, 1 dirham, 2 dirham foods, and most expensive 3 dirham. So that's food security for the lower income.
Why is it important for people to think about food security from a different lens today?
When we are with full tummies and we see people on the roads in the hope in with the hope in their eyes that we may give some food, we may not understand. Honestly, when we go without food at times, for reasons like we are busy and I could not cook or I could not find an avenue where I could go and buy food, we may understand what is hunger. So for me, having lived that situation for many years while I was a student, because I had to work to make ends meet. It was not only my education; I had to educate my brother also, the younger one. It was 3 meals was quite a luxury. So we used to have one meal in a day, and the other times we would wish that some neighbors come and give something. Or maybe when I started working in coaching centers, I used to feel that किसी ने चाय ली है तो they'll buy a packet of biscuit. Maybe they'll give me 2 biscuits out of it. So I knew what is hunger. So nobody had to explain that to me, and I could understand all the lower income people very easily. So when I see them, I know that they are not able to speak up, but they are hungry and they need food, and the pocket size is small. So food security is important. And I always say this that social enterprises across the world are always related to a personal experience. Why I could not give up food ATM with all the discouragement or all the failures was I knew that hunger needed to be handled. It was not taste buds, it was not a glamorous menus. No, it was hunger always in my mind. I
Yeah.
knew I had to do something on that. And that's why I could not give up because I know what it feels like when you're hungry and you don't have money to eat.
But it's interesting how your purpose, because there came a point when you were explaining the journey where you spoke about how it went beyond yourself. And that's when you realized that this was beyond the kind of, beyond what you thought. It wasn't just your love for cooking, but it was actually having an impact on people. And then that kept you going. That is interesting because the purpose then becomes beyond yourself, which is not something that you have realized when you started off in the initial journey. I want
Exactly.
I want to ask you, Now you're dealing with strangers every day. And as you rightfully said, we are from a culture where strangers aren't often treated or looked at. They're always looked at with an eye of caution, or at least we're told growing up, कि ये stranger hai, we tread carefully. What have you learned about engaging with strangers? I'd asked this question to another food entrepreneur who is from sorry, I'm trying to remember. I'll tell you, it'll come to me. Arva from Frying Pot Adventures. And she also answered it beautifully. She spoke about how there were so many stories that came alive when you met all these people. What's been your experience?
When Miss Farah had come to one of our kitchens in Ajman, she saw thousands of meals being cooked, and I was also there. And I was monitoring, and in an hour like that day, I think they made some 7,000 meals. They were packing, packing, cooking, packing, running. So she said, "This is so huge, yeah. There are like, so many cooking pots and so much of fire and big place and people and rush and all that. This is all so big. Like, isn't it scary for a woman?" Because in the whole industrial area with 27,000 men around, I'm the only woman there. In fact, the only person who shouts. So that so she said, is this scary for a woman?
Uh,
So that's when I said that when I see people at my doorstep, I know they're lower income people. It's very easy to understand. We see them every day. There's nothing else that comes to my mind. Everything else seems very small. So if there was millions to go behind setting up this project, and if I was able to handle hunger for even one individual, I felt like a winner. Every single day, I feel like a millionaire because for sure, any food ATM that I go, there would be a handful of people waiting just to say that thank you to me. And many of them have tears in their eyes. They would rush with their some small photos on their mobile phones to show me that, see, I bought a cycle for my daughter, I bought a school bag. Somebody would come and show the installment receipts and all. I mean, it feels so touching that they come and show me that I could pay the installment. Now nobody will drive my family out of the house. That is such a very personal thing, and they come and share all this with me. So what more do I want from life? I think this is the best blessing ever. So when I ask them many a times, I once in a month I visit each labor camp that we are providing food, and I go and ask them, कि, Bhaiya, what is the change in food that you want, and what is your feedback? Is bar we introduce new dal tadka, huh? We introduce new. There is nothing very big I can afford. Muttons and beefs and all have gone away from my menu. I don't even have that. I have chickens and eggs, and but we introduce something special. Like since last week, we are giving fruits, so we make fruit chaat. Fruit chaat is free for thousands of people every day. Apple, orange, grapes, and that too close to half a kg fruit chaat for every labor. So I go and ask them, how does it feel? Thanda thanda fruit, garam garam days mein you are enjoying, huh? So they wouldn't even respond about the food. They would start with their own stories. Didi, this happened, that happened. So I say, food ke bare mein to kuch batao. They say, it is the food only, na. It is the food only because of which all this is happening. All these, medications happening, or children studying, or younger brother getting a job is all because of the food only, na. So food is the best, Didi. That you don't worry. Anything you give is good. Everything is good. See, what else you want?
yeah,
So
absolutely.
even if we bring up changes in the menus, because we can only bring up things which are affordable for us, such
Mm.
large volume cooking, how we can do? I cannot buy anything expensive. So many thousands of tummies every day. So whatever affordable we buy, we make it tasty and we give it. They are so happy. Not once in this journey of beyond 5 years, anyone has said, "Why you change that? There is no mutton now. There is no beef." Nobody says that. Nobody says. They are only grateful. They're only grateful. So that's the beauty of the whole thing, I
Yeah.
believe.
My next question to you is, you're doing all of this alongside family. That's a separate challenge altogether, to kind of have your own life, then dedicate your life. How have you managed to crack that synergy, and what steps have you taken to make sure you're able to deliver both ends?
It has, becoming a social entrepreneur for the world at large and becoming a social entrepreneur at home for your family is really hurtful because I have not been there. I have not been there. for months. Every day I would be at work, so much engrossed, and my husband has been playing the most difficult role, because when I was attending interviews or going to grab business and getting the labor camps done, where he always was there with me in the journey, he would specially go home and give food to the children because I have not cooked. No, not 1 or 2 days, years together I have not cooked, months together. So maybe in 6 months I would have made some one thing at home, because I was never there. Random working hours, 2 in the night, 5 in the morning, 12 in the night, random working hours. I would be driving, I would be at warehouses, in the kitchens, cold storages, dry stores, vendors. It was something which was only there in my mind. I had to bring it to the being, and I could not explain it. Nobody could understand what I'm saying. So my husband was like sitting in a brakeless vehicle, whichever direction it's going. He had no control on that, and I would be directing the project from difficult locations to now where it is. So my children have not seen either of us, but my husband has ensured that there is food for the children every day. So when there's anything, my little girl, my boy is a 22-year-old young man, my girl is 14. But whenever she has anything, she'll say, "Where's Papa? Where's Papa?" So now that hurts me. When there is something, she wouldn't, she feels more comfort or secure to talk to her father. My son, he would talk to me, "Yeah, mom, how was your day? How was your day?" So the communication has limited to only that now. So these are the few things which I have missed out big time. Becoming a social entrepreneur inside your house is very hurtful. You are a mother, you're a wife, and that status is something every woman wants once she's home. And there were times when I didn't deserve it. I was so much not there, so much not there. So when the children were angry at one time in this journey, they have even said, "Not our friends don't have such adventurous mother." So I have been hurt not because they said it, because it is a truth. That truth has hurt me. And now I'm slowly trying to make that conscious effort to cook something, or maybe once in a day, once in 2 days, and be there for them. Be there, especially a girl growing up in her adolescence. And I not being there at all was not the right thing. So my family has put up with me when the world could not understand. So I want to be very honest here, that I have not been very great mother or wife, not at all. Especially in this journey of Food ATM, I have been only a social entrepreneur. It is now that we have been a little stable. We are in multiple Emirates. I have a large team. Boys have understood the work. I don't have to be mentoring them every hour. Slowly, it's still the business is always like that. There's something that goes wrong everywhere, every day, but I have pulled myself out for an hour or two. That's the max I'm doing. So nothing great I'm doing as yet.
When it comes to the practical implications of starting something like that, and you might have touched upon different bits of this already, but I want to ask you, especially because I know we had started a cafeteria long back. I know the kind of processes that go in. It's not easy when somebody absconds. It's not easy when, like you said, it takes a while before you can come to a point where you trust the people around you. What are those kind of practical implications that you've seen over the years which need to be kept in mind? And hygiene being one of the most important ones, I believe, in something like
When it comes to the food industry here, specifically in the UAE, you require to have very high health standards, safety standards, cleanliness, hygiene. So we have the HACCP certification, which we got after failing 3 times. 3 times we failed, because being from the IT industry and being a hands-on cook at home, in those days I used to cook from home and give to people. So for me, keep this here, it's okay. Keep this there, it's okay. थोड़ी देर fridge के बाहर रहा, it's okay. It's not okay. There are many things which are not okay. And I had to unlearn things which I had somehow unconsciously, subconsciously learned it in my 12 years of journey of feeding the labors.
that.
When I was doing it at a personal front, I was just feeding the people in my office, my cleaners, my drivers, my gardeners, all of them. So I used to be like, Nini, this can be kept here, this can be kept there, keeping in the refrigerator, keeping it out, hot food here. how it has to be covered, how it has to be retained, where the vegetables need to be kept, where the meats need to be kept. In my refrigerator, everything would be in the deep freeze together.
Mm.
So there are many things which I didn't know, and because I didn't know, my team was obviously more than happy to do not do okay things. They were also, I had picked up boys from weddings and all, where in India, we have big day cooking for thousands of people, huge vessels, cooking pots, because that is the people. They are the people I needed. So they
Yeah.
were not so hygienic and all. Who cares? The end result is शादी पे खाना time पे मिलना चाहिए. This is
Yeah.
all what they do. The marriage
Yeah.
is the food. And डेग पे डेग चढ़ा रहे डेग पे डेग चढ़ा रहे. This is all what they knew. And I was also not much literate. So I used to feel this is the right thing. We are giving result, na? We're giving food. Na? So many tummies are receiving food. Ho gaya, this is the right thing. This
Mm.
is the objective of the project. We've achieved it. That's when auditors come in and they royally screwed us up. They said this is wrong, that is wrong, ye fine, wo fine. So we were black. I mean, already earning is so small. Upar se fine.
Yeah.
But those things taught us. Those
Yeah.
things. Now we are certified for 3 years, and we know things. All those hair nets and all the nails are cut and all the beards are in place. Otherwise they were enjoying their lifestyle. The uniforms are perfect, the hot holding equipments, the things in the kitchen, the not only the equipments, all the containers, the dates, the schedules of each product, all that is in place now. There are mistakes because new employees keep joining, and those new employees need to be sent for trainings, and they need to be doing the certifications, which we are ensuring. So daily, some of the other mistakes happen, but it's way better than what we were. Now we are a little mature.
And how much, ma'am? Because I've also seen, like you said, going for interviews, going for these opportunities. I want to ask you, as a social entrepreneur, how much of putting yourself out there is important? And when you do put yourself out there, I'm curious to know, what is the perspective when you put yourself out
When I came on the board of directors of United Nations Global Compact, UAE, there were certain objectives UNGC UAE had to follow, and with that, each director, I specialize in labor and civil society. Each director has their own domains. So putting yourself out, I believe that social media is a very powerful tool where you are voiced out and you're visible and you sometimes become an inspiration for a few people. And in my case, I didn't want anyone to just know Food ATM in a verbal way.
there?
So every post or every article of mine is very consciously only about the acts that we have performed. And now we are having a series of podcasts, which is let's become the bridge between sustainability talks and sustainability walks, because Food ATM walks it. We don't talk about it. Just yeah, for sustainability there are so many white papers available. Do 1 2 3 4 and that's it. We go to schools and universities and tell them, show them good presentations, talk very well. No, no. If a child does not know, we tell them, grow your own food. Okay, this that. How does a child 5 year old grow his own food? Did you even show him, show her? No. So we have our own farm in Russell Khema where we invite students and from not only schools, universities also. They all come. They do hands-on gardening with us. They eat the food there, and we have wells. There is no electricity on the farm. In bright daylights in summer, it's like as cool as 27 degree, 28 degree among the trees. They spend time with nature and they learn that electricity is not there, technology is not there, but nature protects us. So let us protect nature. If nature is all ruined, one day we will not even have electricity. Where are we going to generate it from? We'll finish all the waters. Yeah, we'll dry all the lands. So, like this, we have practical implementations of every aspect. Every wastage of food ATM goes into the farm, and we are regrowing plants from our own seeds, and the vegetables that come from the plants are going to our own kitchens. All this we show them. So putting yourself out on the social media needs to be much more impactful than we think, because by seeing an article, a group of people might go into a wrong direction in life. Then let's be, Karishma, I would want to say that whenever you see women entrepreneurs advertisements or promotions, you would see the most glossy looking women, the best of the figures, the best of the clothes, the best of the cars, bags, shoes, and they would sit on the best couch and talk about how it's being like an entrepreneur. Honestly, that is not even 1% of the reality. An entrepreneur does not look anything close to that glossy figure. Entrepreneur is all blood, sweat, and tears, and
Yeah.
mud and sand, and most of the time depressed and struggling to prove a point. At some time, we become successful, then we know success is not a destination, it's a journey. So, putting yourself out on the social media as a glossy figure, so many girls would think that let's become an entrepreneur because see how she looks amazing. It's not how she looks, it's about what she does. What is her contribution to the world? So if I have to put myself out, and I know so many thousands of girls today follow me and they are in touch with me, I tell all of them, say we all must have an objective in life and we all must become contributors, not just consumers. Consume all the global resources and give nothing back to the world? No. An entrepreneur, if you want to become one, should become a contributor for any cause that is close to your heart and become a reason to have employment for so many people. Today, so many people and so many families are employed by us. So these are the things you should put out on social media, not just a glossy figure, because we send a wrong message. Yeah.
Yeah, very true. Very important point, something I truly believe in as well, and I completely align with. I don't know if I should ask you this question, but I still will because you just told me that people give advice. But I want to know, perhaps from you, what can people do to drive change from their little world around them? What can they do when it comes to their own homes? How can they influence society?
When you asked me the first question about the journey, I very elaborately told you about, the different milestones of the journey very, very clearly, because nothing happens overnight and nothing big is not achievable. It is achievable. If you set out with an ambition or target of making a lot of money, then you are not an entrepreneur for making an impact. So people who want to make an impact might or would not, in my terms, should not think about the monetary aspect. That is the very first thing. Let me make so much of money. So if you want to make so much of money, then you should do some other business, not an impact making project.
Yeah.
But all those men and women, even students, they feel that they want to bring about a change, and that change is a domain which they know best. It could be water, it could be environment, it could be population, it could be health, anything. If they feel strongly about something, then start taking baby steps, small baby steps, even if it is from your home. I did 12 years from my kitchen. Money was not an objective at all. I was just feeding people because I knew I had started touching lives. I was making an impact in every home, so many homes.
Right.
And that was enough to keep me going. That was enough. Every time when I would see that somebody's child has cleared grade 10, of a person who has never seen school, never gone to school. That was a moment of Nobel Prize achieving for me. It was that big for me. It is still big for me. Even today, when people come and
I
show.
can feel it. I can feel the joy of something like that happening.
Yes, I was telling the other day in one of the interviews that a girl wrote to me on LinkedIn and she's telling me she's becoming a doctor because of me. And I thought maybe she's eating at Food ATM. So I said, Chalo, beta, tell me, where are you? I'll come and meet you. I took the car keys and I was just going to meet her, dumping all my work. She said, I'm in Kerala. I'm in India. I'm not in UAE. It's my father is a cleaner in a company near Food ATM, one of the food ATMs. He eats at Food ATM, and his money, his salary is 1100 dirham, and he's sending money and paying my fees. So I'm becoming a doctor because of you. So I mean, these are the blessings, dear. These are the blessings. I never look at the monetary aspect, never. And even today we are earning in fills, although we are earning in millions, alhamdulillah, because of the volume of work. So many fills put together become millions, but still the unit cost is 3 dirham and the earnings are in fills. So if you want to make an impact, it's everyone who can do it, who is going to be consistent on this path. If you feel something, feel it from within, not superficially, not to make the world see a glamorous picture of whatever you want to do, but actually show the impact. We quantify the impact, we document the impact, we write down. Now how am I able to tell you all these things? Because I have these communications. I visit the labor camps, my team visits, we have emails coming, we have LinkedIn approaches, Instagrams, people calling, WhatsApp. So we have all this being documented. These are our treasures, these are our treasures. So if you come to my offices, you will see several cupboards full of awards, so many. And all the media, when they come, they will cover the cupboards and they'll ask me, which of these trophies is the nearest to you, Aisha? I said, sit here. And in a few minutes, there will be a trophy coming, someone coming to say a thank you. That is the trophy. Those are the most precious trophies. Sit, abhi 5 minutes mein somebody will come. So when you feel anyone can make a change. I was not a change maker. I wanted to do something. I persevered. 2006 कहाँ and we're 2024 में बैठे. Yeah, I persevered. ऐसा थोड़ी कि it happened overnight. Nothing will happen overnight. But if you feel for something passionately, don't leave that way. उससे चलते रहो. And it will happen. Big things will happen. हमने कभी नहीं सोचा था that we'll be part of United Nations or we'll get a world record. Every other day we are getting an award recognitions. कभी नहीं सोचा था. And कभी that was not the objective also. वो सोच के नहीं चले थे.
Yeah.
पीपल के पेट तक खाना पहुंचाने चले थे. देर आर मेनी पीपल तो कहाँ चले, चांद तारे हासिल करने हैं. देर आर मेनी पीपल दे से. मैंने कहा नहीं भाई, चांद तारे नहीं हासिल करने, जमीनों पे जो चल रहे हैं ना उनके पेट तक खाना पहुंचाना है. चांद तारे पे जाके मैं क्या करूंगी? जमीन पे इतने सारे भूखे लोग हैं, उनके पेट तक भी पहुंच पाई तो बड़ी बात है.
I just want to wrap it up with one thing, which is for those who don't know, how can they engage with Food ATM? How
We
can
are
they become part?
This is a very valuable question, Karishma, because, dear, sub cheese, for everything we have a monthly target. I request you, I request every member of your family and all the families, members who are going to listen to this podcast, that once in a month ka target rakh lo. Keep once in a month that we will visit Food ATM and we will buy some food and give it to anyone. Because in 10 dirham, you can feed three people. 3 dirham mein pura meal. One chicken biryani, one pani, one fruit, yeah, one chips ka packet, one big packet of chocolate, something. आधा kilo to fruit chat free में दे रहे हैं. Every day, not 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
So come to us. Why? Because we are always based in industrial areas. अलग अलग, like today if we have 5 different locations, so all locations are in different industrial areas in Ajman, Sharjah, Ras Al Khaimah, now Alhamdulillah Abu Dhabi. So come to us, come collect some food and go and give it to anyone that you like. इससे क्या होगा? When you are doing it, your children will see you doing it. We have to make them better human beings. If you don't walk the path, if you don't show them these things, they might never realize, because in their technological environment, in their technological minds, humanity or social impact never comes, because we never showed them. None of the books are showing that. Not a single book which is printed till date in schools and universities have a page, have one page of social impact for either food or environment or climate. No. Why can't they have? Social studies, science, maths, even maths, why not? English, they can have one page of social impact. Do it, not just talk about it. So I request all the people who are listening to us now that please come to us, connect with us. My numbers are there, emails are there. We are there on Instagram, very active, LinkedIn. Send messages to us, engage with us once in a month. Take 30 minutes out of your time. Come and buy whatever food you want. Give it to anyone. If you don't know where to give, whom to give, we are in inside industrial area. Around us, minimum a few thousands of laborers are there. That is why we are there. All our outlets are very much in labor intensive areas. There are so many who can't say that they're hungry, but they come to Food ATM in the hope that aaj koi aayega. If after every prayer, they will distribute food, free food. There are many who come and take it because they don't have even that 3 dirham.
Yeah.
Did we know that? Did we know that? Did we think about that? In our privileged lives, we didn't. Our children, not at all. They don't even know what is a hardship. Good, that's blessing of God. But let us take them for birthdays. When children have birthdays, you have anniversaries, you have successes in offices. Come to Food ATM. Celebrate your personal occasion by giving out food, by spreading more happiness.
Hmm.
Fill tummies. इससे बड़ा क्या है? Which is the biggest blessing? Give food. Come to us. I want all of you to please connect. Once in a month ही आ जाओ.
Yeah, absolutely. The next thing I'm going to do is go and check out how I can be there and how I can
Please.
bring my
If you
family
have, yeah, if you have forums, please convey my message. Come to us, please. Let us do it and not just talk about it. We can't outsource good deeds.
there. Yeah, yeah, very true. On that note, ma'am, thank you so much. It's been a conversation I will hold very, very close, and I mean every bit. You've had me smiling throughout the conversation because I've enjoyed listening to your story so much. Thank you for sharing it with me. Thank you for being so humble, and thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you, darling. Thank you so much. Hope to see you soon.
Knock, knock. Are you still here? Well, I'm super happy that you are. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. Please do like, share, and subscribe to Karishma Connect across platforms. And I look forward to bringing you many more such amazing stories from around the world. If you've got one, please do get in touch. Lots of love.